Few bands in rock history had everything going for them. The songs, the talent, the timing, and even the blessing of the Beatles themselves. And yet, few bands were destroyed as completely as Badfinger. Their story isn't just about bad luck. It's about trust placed in the wrong hands. Dreams slowly strangled by greed. And a betrayal so devastating it ended lives. This is the rise, the betrayal, and the fall of Badfinger. A band with a Beatle-sized opportunity. Badfinger began life in late 1960s Wales under the name The Ivies. They were young, melodic, and obsessed with harmony, the kind of band record labels usually ignored. But everything changed when Apple Records, the label founded by the Beatles, took notice. Paul McCartney personally championed them. Apple signed the band, gave them studio time, and placed them directly inside the Beatles' creative orbit. Almost overnight, Badfinger went from hopeful nobodies to the most promising band on Apple Records. It should have been a dream come true. Instead, it was the beginning of a nightmare. Hit songs, false security. Badfinger didn't just get attention, they delivered results. Songs like Come and Get It, No Matter What, Day After Day, and Baby Blue became massive hits. Their sound blended Beatles-style melodies with emotional honesty and crisp guitar work. They weren't copying, they were evolving the formula. George Harrison produced Day After Day. Their records charted internationally. Money should have been pouring in. But the band members were broke. Royalties were missing. Tour money vanished. And no one could explain why. The men they trusted. At the center of everything stood their manager, Stan Polly. Polly presented himself as a polished, well-connected businessman, someone who could protect young musicians from the brutal industry. Badfinger trusted him completely. That trust would cost them everything. Polly controlled their contracts, finances, and communication with the label. When the band asked about unpaid royalties, he blamed accounting delays. When lawsuits appeared, he insisted it was normal industry chaos. Behind the scenes, Polly was quietly diverting millions. Apple collapses, and so does protection. When the Beatles broke up, Apple Records began collapsing under lawsuits and internal chaos. Badfinger lost their greatest shield. Suddenly, the band was being sued by Warner Brothers, by former business partners, and even by people they'd never met. Their money was frozen. Their albums were pulled. They couldn't tour. They couldn't record. And still, Polly told them everything was under control. It wasn't. Pete Ham's breaking point. Lead singer Pete Ham was the heart of Badfinger. Sensitive, idealistic, and deeply invested in the music. As lawsuits mounted and bills went unpaid, Ham spiraled. In 1975, with no income, no clarity, and no escape from legal threats, Pete Ham wrote a note blaming Stan Polly for stealing their future. Then, at just 27, he took his own life. Badfinger lost its soul. Trying to survive the unthinkable. Most bands would have ended there. Badfinger tried to continue. Tom Evans and Joey Moland attempted to rebuild, record new music, and reclaim what was left of their legacy. But the damage was permanent. Years of lawsuits followed. Royalties remained tied up. Friendships collapsed under stress and blame. The band's name became associated with tragedy instead of talent. A second death, same wound. In 1983, history repeated itself. After years of financial ruin and emotional exhaustion, Tom Evans, still fighting over unpaid royalties, took his own life. 2 founding members gone. Both victims of the same betrayal. At that point, Badfinger wasn't just a band with bad luck. They were a cautionary tale. The cruel irony of success. Perhaps the most painful part of Badfinger's story is this. Their songs never stopped being loved. Without You, written by Pete Ham and Tom Evans, became a worldwide hit for Harry Nilsson and later Mariah Carey. Millions were earned. The band saw almost none of it. Decades later, Baby Blue experienced a massive resurgence after appearing in Breaking Bad, introducing Badfinger to a new generation. Success arrived, far too late. The legacy that should have been. Badfinger should have been remembered alongside the Beatles, The Who, and the Kinks. Instead, they're remembered as proof that talent alone is not enough. They trusted the wrong men. They signed what they didn't understand. And the industry didn't save them when it mattered. But the music survived. And in the end, that's what exposes the tragedy most clearly. Badfinger didn't fail. They were robbed. The rise of Badfinger shows how powerful music can be. The betrayal shows how cruel the business can become. And the fall reminds us that behind every song are human lives. Lives that deserved better.